listening to Blue Radio, bringing the vibe.
Playing always on my mind right here on Blue Radio by HART The Band. My name is Maricela Kimbio and welcome to the We Talk Show. And we had just started earlier with our conversation together with the Mission Relief Africa team. And in case you missed that conversation, be not in doubt because we will be projecting the interview right there on our YouTube channel at Blue Radio Kenya, so you don't have to miss out on anything that we discuss right here on our radio shows. And on that, I had notified you guys earlier that we will be having a guest all the way from Nahugombe CBO, our very own Nora Chao, who will be joining us very shortly. But before that, I want you guys to interact with us across all our social media platforms at Blue Radio KE. Make sure you interact with us, ask any questions that you may find need during our exclusive interviews. And also to those who have been engaging with us on our website, on the messages side, thank you very much. I really appreciate your contribution. So before that, Nora Chao, welcome very much.
Thank you so much, Maricela.
So for our listeners, maybe you can tell them a little bit about your organization as we move on.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, it's still morning. Yeah. And to everyone that is listening to Blue Radio this morning, my name is Nora Chao, and I'm the founder and executive director of Nahugombe community-based organization working in Kinango constituency, I'd say Samburu and Kinango sub-counties. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So you've mentioned Kinango. Kinango is in Kwale County.
Yes.
So does the organization only base around Kwale, or do you do activities across the coast region and even across the entire country?
Okay, at the moment, because of financial constraints, we are only working in Kinango constituency. I'm calling it Kinango constituency because we are covering 2 sub-counties. Kwale County has several sub-counties, but now for Kinango constituency has 2 sub-counties, unlike the other constituencies that have 1 sub-county. Yeah, so I could have said Kinango sub-county, but now I'm calling it Kinango constituency because now we are working in 2 sub-counties, that is Kinango and Samburu. So at the moment, we are only covering the 2 sub-counties, but hopefully there is a project that is still in the process of being implemented upon the funding that we've requested. And with this project, we're going to work the whole Kwale County and maybe the Greater Coast region.
Thank you very much. Na kama msikia mambo ni kama hayo hapa ndani ya Blue Radio, tuko naye Nora Chao all the way from Kinango with her organization Nahugombe CBO. So before that, let us take a quick 1-minute break and then we will be back shortly with more right here on Blue Radio. My name is Maricela Kimbio and this is the We Talk Show. And welcome back to our show. This is the We Talk Show. My name is Maricela Kimbio and we have just introduced our amazing guest for today's show, and that is Nora Chao all the way from Nahugombe CBO. So quickly as we move on, what are some of the things that you guys do? I don't want to call them projects because we're still going to go ahead and discuss some of the projects that your organization have done. So what are some of the things that your organization is best on doing, really?
Our organization is, we do sexual reproductive health and rights advocacy amongst teenagers. This is the age of 9 to 17. Okay. That's what we do. Sexual reproductive health and rights.
So that is the only thing that the organization does.
Okay, that is our main focus. Also, we started doing that last year, women and youth empowerment. Yeah, we have quite a number of activities surrounding women and youth empowerment.
Nice. So when you're talking about sexual reproductive health, do you educate in general perspective, regardless of gender, or is it only a specific gender that you guys approach?
No, we work regardless of the gender. We include even the boys because for some time they've been secluded. But for us, we cover both boys and girls. Yeah.
And you've mentioned that it's only a specific age group that you guys target.
Yes.
So I'm actually quite concerned because if we talk about sexual reproductive health, we have even adults who are not familiar about the health, sexual reproductive health. So do you make an outreach to help them?
Yes. Okay. We call it, our main focus is on the teenagers, and our approach is called a whole school approach. By a whole school approach, I mean we cover everyone that is surrounding a school. This is inclusive of the school administration, the pupils, regardless of regardless of their level of education. This means both secondary school and primary schools, and we also involve the parents, the guardians, and any other stakeholder that will be present in a school setting. That's why we call it a whole school approach. But our main focus is on the teenagers. But we appreciate, even in as much as our focus is on the teenagers, they are not on their own. So our approach is called a whole school approach, meaning we involve everybody else, and this is the community in general.
And maybe to get an overview from when your organization started to right now, how many schools have you been able to approach so far?
Our organization started back in 2020, but because of the COVID outbreak, we were limited with whatever we could do, because now there was no one-on-one meetings. And with where we work, there is challenges of network, so we could not say that we are doing or virtual meetings. So we put it to a stop for some time. A better part of 2021, we were also not doing anything, and then we resumed fully last year. That is 2022. We visited 12 schools, primary schools. Nice. And 2 secondary schools. And this year, up to now, we've visited 7 primary schools and 1 secondary school.
Nice. So, speaking of challenges, COVID-19 aside, what are some of the challenges? Basically, I'm talking about major challenges that your organization is facing when you're carrying out your activities and even your projects at large.
Wow, that's a very good question. Thank you for that, Marisela. The main challenge we've had ever since we started is finances. Up to now, we've never been funded. We just do local mobilization, friends, well-wishers, stakeholders, politicians, and everybody that has a passion for CSR, and including even ourselves, the membership fees that we contribute in the organization. That is what we've been using. Personally, I've used a lot of my resources to get to where I am today. So financial constraint is the main challenge. Another challenge is, I'd say, myths and taboos, or let me just call it cultural practices that like for comprehensive sex education, you'd find some little resistance because some cultures do not allow people to talk openly about sex because it's a taboo. So cultural practices are really a hindrance to our work. Yes. And then also number 3, I'd say the vastness of Kinango. Kinango constituency is very vast. Like the area of coverage is big. The population is quite a lot. We have so many people are found within Kinango constituency, and then the vastness of it, we cover up to Makinon. We have schools as far as Makinon. We have schools in the interior parts of Samburu quite far. So accessing these schools is normally a challenge because, again, transport, the distance.
And maybe this question, I think I should have asked you this question earlier while we were beginning. But what inspired you to start Nahugombe, really?
Thank you for that question. Okay, me personally, I'm Taita. I was born in Taita, but I started working in Kinango back in 2009 when I was a very small girl. So I always tell people I was born in Taita, but I was adopted by Kwale. So Kinango made me who I am today. I went to work in Kinango when I was a very small girl, and being in the education sector, because I work with Teacher Service Commission, I've been able to see some of the challenges that teenagers go through. Being in my office, I've also been a committee member for Equity, the Wings to Fly and Elimu Scholarship. I was a committee member. I was a board member, and I was involved in the selection process for students that were supposed to be beneficiaries of the program. And during this exercise, we were visiting the pupils at their home areas, and I've gone to so many places in search of very needy students. So I have seen the need. During my visits to these places, I saw the need. Being in my office, I have seen the challenges. So I I sat and thought together with my co-founder. Just one day we were having a cup of coffee, and then we decided, why not do something that maybe could bring a change to this community? And then I said, yeah, because now for me, because Kinango has made me who I am today, at least I need to give back to the community, and that is what pushed me to start this organization.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice, lovely.
Thank
And I know you've worked with so many projects, but I'm more interested in one in particular. Have you ever had what is one of the big projects that you've worked with? As in, since you said you started in 2020 and now, I'm sure there's that one big one. Yenye uli work on and you're like, wow, he may blow up. So which one was that? And how was it?
Wow, that's a very good question also. The main project we've done ever since we started is the menstrual health hygiene. Yes, we do menstrual health hygiene advocacy at school level, where we sit down with the girls, we talk to them about menstrual hygiene. And you see, someone would say, come on, it's 2023, we don't have challenges with menstrual hygiene. And I tell them, no, this challenge is there because there is a shortage of the sanitary towels. And for us, when we source for the sanitary towels, we don't just give sanitary towels, we give the undergarments, we give them soaps, we give them shaving kits. So we call it a dignity kit, and we don't just give one packet, we give at least 3 that will last someone throughout the time. We give 3 hoping that we are giving to this particular girl, and this particular girl will use these things for herself. But you see now in our home settings, maybe she has other siblings, she has aunties, she has her mother, and you see, you cannot say these are my sanitary towels, you have 3 packets and maybe your sibling doesn't have. So in such a scenario, when she gets home after you've given her the dignity kits, she has to share. Now for us, we do that hoping that these are going to be for this particular girl, although we know that that is not the case on the ground, but at least we do it hoping it will be like that. So this menstrual health hygiene has been has been the activity that has, I'd say, is just our, it's just what I'm looking for a better term. It's just everything, because we've done it successfully everywhere we've gone. If you go back to that community and ask them about Naugombe, they'll tell you, anyway, these people are the real G's. Yeah. So menstrual hygiene is I'd say is our plus activity. Yes.
And speaking maybe on that project on menstrual hygiene, you've helped these girls, you've donated sanitary towels, you've called them the hygiene kit.
Yes, dignity kit.
The dignity kit, sorry.
Yeah.
So you've gone there, you've helped them with the dignity kit and all that. So do you make a follow-up after some time to go and help them? Because most of these girls are in the vulnerable communities. Okay, you've helped them now, and then later on, what happens in the next month? Like you've said, they have aunties, they have siblings, mothers. So let's say, for example, I am the needy kid. You've given me 3 dignity kits. I've gone with them home. I have a mother, I have 3 sisters. So I share them, the 2, I remain with 1. So I've used them this month, and maybe it has carried me on to the other month. So what happens in the 3rd month? Because now I don't have resources to even make purchase for another. So
Well, yeah, now this is, I should have mentioned it as a challenge when we were speaking as of challenges earlier on. I think it was just an oversight that I left it out. Now this comes down to sustainability. How are we able to sustain our activity? Now you see, sustainability at the moment has not been possible, but at least for us, when we go doing the sensitization, because we don't just give the dignity kids, we have a conversation on sexually reproductive health and rights with these teenagers. I'll give you an example of one of our activities. We call it Chapati Festival. We've done it twice, in one school in Samburu and another one in Kinango sub-county. During this activity called the Chapati Festival, we sit down with the girls. So we divide ourselves in groups and then we make chapatis. So as we're making chapatis, the way women will just share stories when they're cooking or when they're doing house chores, we talk to these girls. So in as much as we will leave the dignity kits that might not last, we have given them, we have left them with the knowledge. We've taught them how to take care of themselves during menstruation. So at least that knowledge, and you see, this is knowledge that does not expire. It does not have an expiry date. When once you're taught, it remains in your mind. Yeah. So we call one of our approaches is we call it involve me and align. You might tell me something and then I forget, but in our approach we say involve me and I learn. Once we involve you, you learn. Once you've learned something, it remains with you. You could teach your cousins, your younger siblings. You could use this knowledge that in so many ways. So in as much as we might not sustain the issuance of the sanitary towels every now and then, but at least we've left them with the knowledge. And I think that is a plus.
It
Yes.
really is.
Yeah.
And instead of just leaving them as they
Yes,
are, because
yes,
watabaki tu wakijiuliza, so what next?
Yeah, what next?
What do we do from now? And that is really nice. So when you're educating these girls on menstrual hygiene, do you also include the boys as well to educate them on menstrual hygiene? Because they still need to be aware of these things. Because when they're in school, they interact with the girls, they sit with the girls. Most of these boys also have sisters at home, they have mothers at home. So do you also include them in these conversations?
Yes, we do. During the plenary, like if we go to school at this particular school, when we get there, we normally have a plenary session where we during the plenary session we have both boys and girls together, and then we introduce. You see, for them is just the nitty-gritty bit of it all, so that they get to appreciate that this is a natural process, and then we tell them in case you have a sister that will get into will have menstruation because maybe your mother might not be around. At least you could be of assistance. You could be also in school when you see a girl has stained their clothing. You don't have to laugh at them. You don't have to mock them. So we just want to show them that this is just a normal thing. Yeah. So that they get to appreciate that it is a natural and normal thing. Yes, and then now we can have a very deep conversation now with the girls only. Yes.
And moving on, you've mentioned that the big project was on the menstruation and educating community about menstruation.
Yes.
What are some of the other projects that you've also worked on?
The other project that we've worked on is peace initiatives where we organize football matches. Like there's another one currently ongoing in Davaya Ward in Kinango sub-county. So during these football matches, we preach peace because some of these teenagers as they're growing, they could be confused with so many things and get into crime. Yeah. So during these football matches, we preach the gospel of peace. We also have a lot of women empowerment. Like right now, there's a project we are working on women empowerment. Once it's ready, we shall even have you on board. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And before we move on, I would like to take a quick short break so that I can give our listeners an opportunity to engage with us and ask any questions, and they are free to do so. So in case you've forgotten, to interact with us is Blue Radio KE across all our social media platforms and on Facebook at Blue Radio Kenya, and also on our website. Don't forget, on the messages part, you can engage with us there and inbox us in case you are shy or you want to send an anonymous question to us. Ensure you inbox us and we will read out your questions to you. But before then, let's take a quick short break and then we'll be back shortly with more right here on Blue Radio. My name is Maricela Kimbio and this is the We Talk Show.
Playing you the best of East Africa urban music. This is Blue Radio.
And welcome back to the show. It is 11:14 a.m. and my name is Maricela Kimbio right here on the We Talk Show. And as you know, we have already Nora Chow all the way from Nahugombe from Kilifi County right here on the show. And in case you're just tuning in, tumekuwa hapa for some time now. The show started at 9 a.m. and it's almost going to an end. But before that, let us, proceed with our interview and then we will close down the show. So to move on, you had mentioned about one of the challenges being cultural practices being not being in line with when you're going to preach against sexual reproductive health. So I know most Kwale County inakwaga majority population is the Islam community. I don't know if I'm correct or wrong.
Yes, you are very correct.
It is. And if I'm not wrong, it's actually a vice to discuss vitu kama hizi. Like it's bad to discuss about sex and everything revolving around sex when it comes to these people. So how do you go about that? like to approach these communities, trying to educate them? I'm sure maybe you've ever been umekatazwa to speak about these things even to the children. So maybe you can share that experience with us.
Okay, ever since I started, I've not faced rejection. It's just that I understand that this is a taboo. Like now, I'll give an example of the Muslim fraternity. You see now for them, like when you're in your menses, there are some of these things there are some things that you're not supposed to do, like you're not supposed to pray, you're not supposed to go to the mosque, and so many other things. I don't want to speak much because I'm not a Muslim, so I really don't know much, but at least for the ones that I know, like praying and going to the mosque are not allowed. You see now for that one we respect. But for us, we want to normalize, in as much as you're not going to pray, but you see now praying is, you could find, as they say, it's not, they say somebody is not clean when they're in their menses. We that one we don't, it is a boundary we don't interfere with. But at least for us, our main aim is education. As long as they're going to school when they're in their menses, at least we don't have a problem with these other whatever with their restrictions. Yeah. So coming back to the community, you see, for us, we work with the community. Like I told you earlier, a whole school approach. We involve various stakeholders. These are inclusive of the wazee wa nyumba kumi and all other leaders, the chiefs, the elders, and we also involve the teachers and administration at school. So in as much as some of these things, especially now the comprehensive sex education, is such a taboo, but you see, we've made it we've made people see the need why we are doing this. You see the early pregnancies, the early marriages, the school dropouts, the misuse of the emergency pills. We are bringing society to see this problem. You see, we don't just go and start talking about these things. We have these people see the need why we are doing this. And you see, once you've made someone see the need, they'll appreciate that we are looking for a solution. Yes, so we haven't faced rejection, yes, but we understand, we appreciate these norms are there, these taboos are there, but our aim is to debunk all those myths, all those myths, and proceed with looking for a solution of helping our teenagers. Yes.
Nice. And also, I've heard you mention about contraceptives. So do you educate people on contraceptives? And also on that, I know it's a taboo, especially in African communities, to even discuss contraceptives with your family. It's not easy for even me to approach my mother or even my father when I was in my teenage age to discuss about contraceptives and other modes of contraceptives. So do you educate these people, and do you also encourage because you said you approach the schools, do you encourage these children, when you educate them on contraceptives, to even share the knowledge to the parents and the community also?
On the contrary, no. As we don't advocate for the use of the contraceptives, as we advocate for abstinence. Okay. Because you see, we do a lot of research as an organization, a lot of research. And I remember last term when schools closed, I was doing a research at a chemist within Kwale. The larger Kwale, just randomly, and I was told that the drugs that were really selling were the emergency pills. And that got me wondering, why are these drugs selling now that schools are closed? So I got to understand that boda guys buy these dawas, so they'll tell a girl, let's go have sex, and you'll not get pregnant. You see, nowadays these teenagers fear pregnancy because I think this is what is seen. A baby will be born, so they want to cover up for whatever they are doing by avoiding pregnancy. But you see, they miss the whole point of you could get infections, and also the negative impact of the contraceptives, especially the P2. It is recommended by the World Health Organization that an emergency pill is taken only twice in a year. That means one the first 6 months and another one in the next 6 months. But nowadays they're taken as a daily dose. As long as someone has done unprotected sex, they'll take this dawa. And that is the reason as to why the unwanted pregnancies are still there, because the more you take it, it has negative health impacts on your body, and they might also fail. So for us, we don't advocate for use of any contraceptive. We want to believe that everything has its own time. These teenagers are supposed to be in school studying so that they excel well. So really, they have no business having sex. Yeah.
And you've mentioned about teen pregnancies. So how do you help these teen mothers in your organization?
With the teen mothers that we've identified ever since we started, we encourage most of them to go back to school. So quite a number resumed school, and that is in line with the policy of the Ministry of Education that a child should just be in school even if they're pregnant, and when they give birth, they're supposed to go back to school. So we help them, like. Mambo ya bursary, we encourage them to apply these bursaries. We also have a program called Pata Habari where we give information, because some of these people don't understand that there are bursaries out here. So we encourage them to apply for bursaries. There is one teenage mother that we aided to go to secondary school, and we got sponsorship from KCB. Yeah, through KCB Kwale. One of our teenage mothers was a beneficiary of their scholarship. She's currently in school within Kwale. Yeah, so this was our first plus. Yeah, because she's in school. Yeah. So we are hoping we'll get better chances to help those who have dropped out so that they can go back to school. You see, with primary, it's cheaper, but now you see for secondary school has quite a number of challenges, and as we don't have funding, so we have to look for organizations that will support these mothers transition. Yeah, because the challenge is transitioning from primary up to secondary. Yes.
Nice. So one person is asking in particular, Susan wants to know, when you're discussing about the teenage pregnancies and helping the teen mothers at large, do you also try and involve the teen fathers as well?
Well, okay, so we've had a session with quite a number of teen mothers, and all of them said they don't know where the fathers are. They went missing. Some of them say that some of them denied the pregnancy. And that is why we see now, for us, we really need to sit down with our girls and have this conversation that it's upon you. You see now, it's even in the Bible that mwanamke ni chombo dhaifu. So normally it is us who are on the receiving end. When a man refuses to use protection, it will go down to me risking pregnancy, risking infections, but because he doesn't want to use protection. Now when a girl gets pregnant, the man can easily deny. And if somebody denies, when it becomes a case, it has to go through the process of court, mara sijui DNA. And you see now you're looking for unga, ama you're going to pay fare to court, and hizo processes the DNA. So you see at the end of the day, you'll remain there with your child. Yeah, so up to this moment, I've never seen any teenage father. And most of them, these fathers, are not even teenagers. They are adults, border riders, and other very serious people. When somebody tells you that is the father of my child, and you look at this person and you wonder, why can't you just respect this girl and let this girl be in school? Must you deceive her with some of these things like sanitary towels, or sijui, I'll help you with 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Nice. So let's discuss about your organization again. So do you have like strategic plans that you have put across to help you with your future goals? Of course you have future goals, things that you want to aim or to reach forward in the future. So what are some of these strategic plans that you have in your organization?
We have quite a number of strategies, but the main one is to align ourselves with the government policy, and to also seek funding to help us achieve our goal, because that is the most important thing. We need to start to get funding, and once we get the funding and we have aligned ourselves with the policies, the government policies, both at national and county government, we'll be able to execute our goal. Yes.
And on the side of funding, you said that you guys fund yourselves. It's even more of like a community chipping in and helping in these projects. So you've also mentioned that one of your beneficiaries benefited from KCB. So that is more of like, I'll also call it a community chipping in. But have you ever tried to reach out to the government for them to help you with these funds?
Well, we've tried to reach out to the government, but you see the government itself has their own, they have their own policies and their own strategies. And you see now, for us being a community-based organization that is non-profit, to say funding from the government is not what we are really focusing on. We are looking at these people that they call out to what they want to help people that are doing such initiatives. But for us, we want to just align ourselves with the government. We want to be in line with the government policy, because in everything that we do, we involve the deputy county commissioner, that is at the sub-county level. We also, the county commissioner knows that we do some of these activities, because we also work with the area chiefs, and all of them are in the national government. And you see now for the county government, like for Kwale, the governor is female. Yeah. So now we have to align ourselves with the policies of the government, and not necessarily get funding from the government. We are going to look for funding because there's so many people, especially people that are coming to invest in the country. They want to fund, and we also have parastatals that are doing CSR. We also want to seek for funding from there.
Nice, lovely. And also, this one, I think it's my own personal question, Sasa.
Okay.
You guys have been working around Kwale, and the last time we even communicated, you said you were heading to Taita County.
Yes.
So what project drove you to Taita County, and what was the outcome out of it?
Great. Now for Taita, I was called. There was an event at some certain primary and secondary school. So someone just said he needed someone to come and talk to the girls in that area. Because they had challenges of dropouts, early pregnancies, and early marriages. So that is why I was just called to go and speak to the girls, and that is why I said I'll be having an activity in Taita, and I'm glad because the governor for Taita, Honorable Andrew Mwadime, received us so well because we paid a courtesy call to his office weeks before we went to this school, and at least the also member of county assembly for that particular ward was also there, and they appreciated that challenge. And after talking to the girls, I had a conversation with the girls on that day, and I noted that it is a challenge. Especially there is no sexual reproductive health and right education that is being done, and the one that is supposed to be done in class 6, very minimal is covered, because I think maybe the teachers are not free to talk about some of these issues, especially now the sex education bit. Yeah, so I had just gone to do an activity that I was called upon. Yeah.
Okay. And one person is asking, when it comes to matters of receiving donations, how is there like a protocol that they must follow for them to like give these donations? Literally, this is what the question is all about.
Well, not really. My number is there. My number is on all our social media. My number is there. They could just reach out if they want to donate the sanitary towels or anything amongst the list of the dignity kit items. It's okay. They can just reach out to me. Yeah, or any other member of the organization, just in case I'm not available or rather reachable. Yes.
Okay, nice. I think I'll give you an opportunity later on. You give us your details, your contact details, so that these people can follow up in case they're interested in that.
Okay.
And before that, because I see it's already 11:28 a.m. and it's almost 11:30. So what is one message you would like to send across to communities out there with who are not really conversant or given the ability, they do not have the knowledge on the sexual reproductive health, and as an organization that is still coming up, that is still has a lot to do for it to grow and have roots elsewhere, what is the message that you want to give out?
Okay, my message is if anyone has a way that they could support us, we would appreciate. And I will also request that everybody normalizes this conversation on sexual reproductive health and rights, more precisely sex education and menstrual hygiene. Let's not be ignorant saying that it is 2023. We don't have these challenges of the sanitary towel. These challenges are still there. With the current state of economy, if someone had an option of either buying unga or buying sanitary towel, somebody will easily go to buy unga, because again, this is a basic need. So for me, I take menstrual hygiene as also a basic need, because it's very essential. So let's normalize these conversations. If you know people, if you know organizations that are doing some of these things, you could always reach out, call these people to come and talk to your girls in school. For the parents at home, normalize talking to your children. Tell them that if you have sex with so and so with your male counterpart, this is what will happen to you. You might not get pregnant because you'll be deceived to take the contraceptives. They'll have negative effects on your health. Let's normalize this conversation so that we can help our teenagers grow the way we've grown to who we are today. Yes.
Nice. So as we close down, maybe you can give us like your contact details on how these people can reach out to you.
Yes, first of all, I'll start by giving out my number. My number is very public, so there is nothing wrong. You can feel free to call me. Once again, my name is Nora Chow, and I'm the founder and executive director of the organization Nahugombe, based in Kwale. More precisely, we are working in Kinango and Samburu sub-counties. So my number is 0723 752157. It is on our Instagram page, it is on our Facebook page. Our Instagram page is at Nahugombe, and our Twitter is also at Nahugombe. We are also on YouTube, and yes, we are on YouTube and Twitter at Nahugombe CBO. So on all social media pages, you'll find us, and my number is also there. Yes.
Nice. So to all our listeners, in case you have inquiry questions, in case you want to reach out to them, ensure you follow up. She has highlighted all her details right there. And also we are going to highlight them on our social media pages in case you want to reach out and in case you've missed this part. But in case you've missed this part, as I always say, you are not on the wrong side, because we are going to be uploading this interview on our YouTube page at Blue Radio Kenya. So make sure you interact with us, like our page, subscribe, follow, and all that. And then you can catch this interview right there in case you missed it. But for all our listeners and to all who engaged in this conversation, thank you very much for tuning in. It was very lovely having you, Nora, on board today.
Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure being here at the Blue Radio. Such a pleasure, such an honor.
Maybe you like to give a shout out kwa watu wa nyumbani pale.
Kabisa bwana. Chapchenyi kwa kunisikira. Bwana, we normalize these conversations. Maana uko Taita pia, from whatever I saw over the weekend, challenge iko sana.
Kabisa.
Malako kikaie nicha.
Tutaanza kuongea vernacular hapa tutolewe nje.
Kabisa.
Tujisahau tuko Blue Radio.
Kabisa.
But anyway, thank you very much guys for tuning in. This has been Nora Chow from Nahugombe CBO, and my name is Maricela Kimbio right here on the We Talk Show. We're going to take a quick short break and then we will be right back with more right here on Blue Radio. Stay tuned for more.